Hi everyone. We're now moving on from what we've been doing the last few weeks and entering a new part of the course where we actually draw things and visualize them on the screen. Now the first part is going to be graphics, which is what we're going to be talking about for the next few video sequences, and then after that we're going to move into animation, where things actually move. Now the first thing that you have to do with graphics is essentially to create a blank screen. Now our goal when we're doing graphics is that we want a new window to pop up which will display whatever we've drawn. Now the way that we do this is with a module called tk-enter. Now tk-enter is Python's graphics module, and it's one of many different modules that you can use, but tk-enter comes built in, so that's why we use it. Any other module, you'd probably have to download off the internet, but tk-enter has all the basic functionality that we need. Of course, it's not perfect, and we'll see that over the next few lectures, but it still works and it gets the core functionality. So let's look at this code. Now remember, all of the code that we have on the graphics section, you can't actually run it in the browser, so you have to copy it into your own Python editor. So I have the code here. Now let's see, the first thing we do is that we call this run function, run drawing. Now what it does is it takes in a width and a height. Now you won't completely understand exactly what's going on yet, but I'll give you a high-level overview to allow you to better understand it as we move along. So the first thing we do here is we do root equals tk. Now what this means is that we create a new window, which is going to pop up when we run the code. Root specifies that window. Now, on that window, we want to put an area which we can draw on. So the area which we can draw on, based on tk-enter, is called a canvas. So what we do is we make a new canvas, we tell it that we're going to put it onto the root, and we give it a width and a height. So the canvas is essentially where we draw. We then do this, which is just some sort of configurations. We tell it to actually put itself onto the root, and then we call the draw function. Now the draw function is where you'll do all of your drawing. So you don't actually have to touch the run drawing function. What you actually have to do is just modify the canvas in the draw function, and then it'll handle everything. So if I wanted to draw a circle or draw a square, I would do it inside the draw function. After the draw function is called, we do root.mainLoop. So what root.mainLoop does is that it essentially says, I know that you drew this thing once, but I want to keep it there and not delete it. If we did not have root.mainLoop, it would draw the canvas and then delete it and the page would close. So root.mainLoop basically says make this loop so that it just keeps showing the drawing so that they can actually look at it. So if I run this, I'll expect it to create a canvas and then draw whatever I tell it to and then keep it there. So since we're not drawing anything in our draw function, it should draw a blank canvas. So let's run this code. So I run it, and lo and behold, I get this blank canvas, which is going to be 400, the width of 400 pixels by 200, a width of 200 pixels. Now a key thing to note in animation is that when we specify width, height, and sizes, it's all going to be based off of pixels. So this has 400 pixels across and 200 pixels high. Another key note, which we'll get into when we talk about graphics further on, is where is the origin? Because essentially this canvas is an XY grid, right? It goes from 0 to 400 and it has 200 pixels high. So the question is, where is 0, 0? So 0, 0 is actually in the top left corner. So everything we draw in the X direction positively goes this way, and then everything we draw in the Y direction positively goes down. So as we'll see later on, up is actually down. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense, this will become clear when we actually draw things. But for this part, this is how we make a blank canvas.